It's 6 o'clock, and we always start our meetings with the Pledge of Allegiance and invocation, so if everyone would stand up, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Father, thank you so much for this day. Please watch over us and guide us tonight as we go through this meeting. And please give us the wisdom and the fortitude to make the right decisions for the county. Please be with everyone here tonight and help them to get home safe. Please watch over us all and keep us safe. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Okay, we'll officially now call the meeting to order, and note on the roll call that all commissioners are present. Number 3, the adoption of the agenda. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda?
Chairman, I'd like to make an addition to fill the empty seat on my Board of Appeals representative.
Okay, we'll add appointing a new member to the Board of Appeals for Dr. Adams. Any other additions or deletions to the agenda?
Mr. Chair, you may want to add the addition of Budget Committee members.
In discussion, we'll cover
Okay.
budget work. Thank you, John. Any other additions or changes?
Chairman, pointing on the plan of development has sent me a letter of resignation that I need to have that on the agenda to accept it.
If you're going to accept it tonight, we need to add it.
Yeah, you may get it effective February 12th, so.
Okay, we'll jump to both of those right after the adoption of the agenda. Are you prepared to appoint someone, or that'll be next month?
Next month appointment.
Okay, all right. With those two changes to the agenda, need a motion to approve the agenda.
Mr. Chairman, why don't you put those appointments under the appointment section 8?
I'm sorry?
Put them under section 8, appointments. There's a section already called appointments, put them there.
Okay.
And I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with those changes.
All right, we got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We have a couple places we could have added those. So next is the administrative consent agenda. Are there any questions on the items on the consent agenda? If not, I entertain a
I
motion.
do have a question, Mr. Chairman.
All right.
It relates to for the record. Anything that's for the record, that means that money's already been spent? Or what does that mean when it's actuals?
You're going to have to repeat.
I said for the record, expenditures, those already been spent, we just approving them? Anything's for the record?
Right. Anything for the record
On the contracts?
is $25,000 or more on those.
Well, she said it again on here.
It's already been approved, but we're putting it back so the board can see it.
Because that was a pretty large one of over $4 million I'm a little concerned about on the agenda.
This already, that's your correct. This, for the record means money's, the check has already been approved.
So the $4 million already been written and already been approved by this board? $4 million for the public service complex?
Yes, that's a draw.
That's a draw.
That's a draw on the whole deal, yes.
Okay.
Yes, it's been approved and it's within budget. There'll be a large amount of $4, $5, and $6 million as this project goes forward.
You've already approved. You approved the public safety.
So if I abstain from that approval, then should I abstain from the consent agenda, spend the money? How should that work, Mr. Attorney?
My opinion would be, you voted against a particular project, and once that project's been approved by the board, it's going forward.
Okay,
So
okay.
I don't see any point in
Okay.
staying from.
Okay.
And again, they're putting those numbers on there so you can see that when the dollars are actually spent, but it's not, you're not really,
Not reapproving.
exactly.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
Make a
All right.
motion to approve the consent agenda.
We have a motion to approve the consent agenda. We have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Passes unanimous. Resolution 5.1. Chip, you want to take this?
Sure. So it's time to renew the SLOSS. It expires at the end of the year. And so you should have the resolution which authorizes the imposition of a new SLOSS, obviously subject to voter approval in May. You're also authorizing the IGA that we always pass with the cities on how the money is going to be shared as the revenues come in, and it all lists all the projects. The meeting the meetings have been held with the mayors to figure all that out, and all the cities are working on formally approving that IGA. So what the resolution does is it authorizes the IGA, it authorizes moving forward with trying to renew the SLOSS, and it asks the Board of Elections to call for an election, which they plan to do on Friday, and then it'll be advertised in the Tribune next week, and then it'll be advertised again in the 4 weeks leading up to the May election. So this resolution authorizes all that to happen, and it's something that you've done every time in this law.
So we have an agreement in principle with the cities to approve this?
Absolutely.
Okay,
All the cities are on board with how the money is going to be
distributed.
We met, John and I met with the 7 cities. Unlike the loss negotiation, Kirkland, it took about 2 hours to have a mutual agreement
That's good.
between 7 cities and the county.
That's great.
Everybody's happy. I've got confirmation from all of them on what their projects are and how, and they all agreed on percentages, and so.
I let them punch me up a little bit.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve.
Second?
We have a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes unanimous.
Mr. Chairman, I make a comment on the details of that. Can I say anything about the details of that?
Whatever,
Me and the chairman on negotiating on behalf of our board, and the payment for the public safety facility will be first put out before the city. So I thought that was very important, and I commend it on.
I can explain that for if some of you want further information on it. Basically, yes, the amount of money that's needed for the installment payments, essentially, effectively the bond payments, all the cities agree that money will be collected off the top every month, and then after that amount that's needed is collected, then the rest of the money will be split 60-40. So 60% for the county and 40% collectively for all the cities.
and that in effect keeps property taxes from making a payment on this facility. It's sales tax driven, which everyone pays. So thought it was a win-win for, well, thank you, Commissioner Banks. All right, the Judicial Circuit, there's a upgrade funded by an ARPA grant that we need to approve. It's a contract, which you have a copy of. Entertain a motion to approve that. Got a motion by Commissioner Banks,
Second.
second by Commissioner Adams. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, we got the acceptance of bids and proposals. The temporary road access, finished the construction of it, was bid out, and the successful bidder and low bidder was E.R. Snell. E.R. Snell beat the other bids almost $1 million. The final bid amount is $1,860,655.26. Entertain a recommendation to accept this bid on this project.
So moved.
Got a motion?
Second.
Got 2 seconds. Any further discussion, questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes unanimous. Appointments. The Health Department has a vacancy on the Advantage Behavioral Health System Board, and they are recommending Mr. John Pilgrim to fill that vacancy. So I'll make that an motion on their behalf.
Second.
We have a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes unanimous. Now discussion. We'll take Dr. Adams first on,
Yep, Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to appoint Chris Lamy as my representative on the Board of Appeals.
Chris Maney,
Lamy with an L.
L.
Yep.
Okay,
Second.
we have a second. Any further discussions or questions? All in favor, say aye. 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 Opposed? Okay, Commissioner Banks. All right, we have a motion to accept Pete Meyer's resignation from Planning and Zoning.
I'll second the motion.
We got a second? Any other questions or discussion? All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, and I'm going to add one to the discussion. It's budget time, and to work on the budget with me and Milton and the department heads, I'd like to appoint my same two that worked on it last year, Tim Shelnut and Bo Warren. And does that have to be a motion, Counselor?
I think you're just getting some kind of working group together.
I've just given them an assignment to work with me on proposing, getting a budget to propose to the
I
board.
don't think you're creating any type of performance committee.
All right. Well, thank you. Now it's time for the county manager's report.
I'll try to go through this rather quickly. Just wanted to let you know that Ronnie and EMS was able to hire 3 of the vacant positions there. They actually moved up people who were working in a temp position. And as part of their outreach, they recently conducted training in CPR class, first aid, and AED, along with Stop the Bleed with 44 Monroe High School students. So they're doing a great job of getting that word out. Some surprising numbers, I guess not so surprising, but some growing numbers out of Parks and Recreation. Soccer has increased. In 2019, we had 225. In 2024, 559 participants. We're seeing similar increases in baseball, and that's grown from 2019, 1,316 to now 1,712 people participating in recreation baseball in the county. A lot of other things are going on, but just wanted to share some of those numbers with you about what volume Parks and Recreation are kind of handling. In recycling, we started to sell off some of the cardboard. It's increased $15 a ton, some of the highest returns that we've seen. it's gone up $15 a ton to $130 per ton. So we're starting to go ahead and with some of the backlog that we had there at the warehouse, starting to get those out. Also in January, your mattress program brought in over 200 mattresses that didn't end up on county roads or inappropriately disposed of. One additional thing that I'll bring to your attention now that we'll probably need to deal with next month is that the city of Monroe has adjusted their fees again for solid waste disposal, so that we will be looking at addressing the minimum charges at the scales to help offset that so that it can continue to pay for itself as it moves forward. We'll bring back a report and we'll be able to share some recommendations with you after we've reviewed that in full. Out of finance, in addition to everything of wrapping up the year and then going through the audit and then wrapping up and moving forward with budget preparation, a big thing, ticket item and a focal point coming out of finance is that the professional auditing services 6-year annual recurring contract with Malden & Jenkins has expired, so we'll be going back out with bids for auditing services for your financials. Tons of projects going on. Station 7, Walnut Grove Sports Complex, wrapping up the renovations here. Criswell Park, Public Works Office and Break Room, EMS Garage and Election Storage Building, additional parking at the government building, pickleball courts in Ayers Park in between, and expansion of the salt and public works storage area, just to name a few, in addition to some Annex 3 renovations that are underway. Out of fire, one of the things that we've been tracking is that we've had Truck 14's been out of service, Truck 2's been out of service. We've had some trucks that we've been having to rotate, so we're experiencing quite a bit of repair and maintenance, and you'll see some of that coming forward in the upcoming budget request. They still have 5 positions open, so if anybody wants to be a fireman, it is prime time to apply, and we do need the help out there. Station number 7, the Good Hope Fire Station, just wanted to point out, this Friday at 11 o'clock, February 16th, is the ribbon cutting for that station. CO's been issued, personnel has been moved in, and all the kinks of being in a new facility are being worked out to be ready in time for the ribbon cutting on Friday. So that's kind of an update out of fire. Moving forward with, I'm going to skip human resources for just a second. But in elections, they're rocking along and doing great. Public Works, you can only imagine with the amount of rain, culvert washes, road washes, different things like that, trees. They've really been busy with a lot of their overtime as well as preparation and watching flooding zone areas. Under EMA, just wanted to point out that and welcome Joseph Welchel. Joseph is our new assistant director in EMA, and as we have additional reoccurring events coming on, that was approved in the last budget year. It's taken this part of the year to go ahead and move forward with the development of the job description, working with HR, interviews, and we have a former Sheriff's Department employee moving over into emergency management to assist Carl with those things. Underwater, we're now up to 17,692 customers. We've got a ton of projects. I would say that there have been 48 new meters just installed in just January. So we're seeing that continued growth in water customers. We've got our projects that are both ARA funded and fee funded moving forward. And I would say the biggest ticket item are our DOT projects that we didn't necessarily initiate. We've got the Walnut Grove roundabout, HD Atha roundabout, and the 138 bridge replacement, just to name a few. that are all going to add up into the millions of dollars. When DOT does a road widening project, they require that the utilities that are near the roadway also be moved out of the way at the owner's expense. So the DOT state-funded project results in the local user fees being impacted by that. So we're going to continue to lobby and help share that with our state representatives, because if it's a state project, it sure would be nice if the state was assisting the local governments with trying to do that instead of putting it on the water customers themselves. One final thing that I wanted to share with you out of HR, and that's we're moving forward with several different projects in human resources, but we've received a grant from ACCG. It was one of the items on your consent agenda, and that will be for a special intern that that is focused on health and wellness and really promoting that additionally. Part of the reason we were able to get that was some of the successes that your HR department's pulled off with health and wellness. We had 138 employees take advantage of a free cardiovascular screen. In the past, that's been paid for, but wellness dollars were used to encourage increased participation there. And as far as I know, I think all the screenings came through pretty well. But I was at one event years ago where that was done, and they told the gentleman that he needed to get with his doctor immediately, and within 3 days he's going through open heart bypass surgery. He could have passed at any moment. So it's something that we're trying to expand some of those benefits and keep costs down by finding things early. Also, we were excited that ACCG reached out. They heard about your employee health clinic and about the successes and about how we just opened it in July, but we've already got an over 85% participation rate. They looked at the number of dollars saved, and they've reached out to Melissa, myself, and Chairman Thompson, and conducted interviews, and Walton County is going to be highlighted in the upcoming ACCG publication about that success on a benefit that you've been directly involved in. With that, I'm going to end with a couple of questions. We're moving forward. We're due for this, but we're going to move forward and bring back some documents for you to consider updating our impact fees. As we're seeing more and more cost with storms, more and more cost with more impervious surface, and different things like that, pretty much across the board. Recreation impacts, growth is growing the number of participants in our parks, more and more roadways to take care of, all the way through to the public safety side of that. So I'm going to be working with Sharna and bringing you some information for your consideration on where we are comparatively with other communities on their impact fees, as well as if we need to adjust ours at all. And part of that process will then be, definitely shared in public meetings and everything for input from all parties involved. But it just is one of those things that we need to kind of keep up to date on before we get behind the 8 ball on a lot of the services that we're providing, and utilize some of the growth to help us catch up and not get further behind. Continuing on that note, there's been, as we continue to do our yearly assessments on roadways and different methodology of how to preserve them so that they last as long as they can before we have to start reinvesting in them, especially our newer ones. We just authorized a chunk of money to go back and pave subdivisions that weren't paved during the housing collapse. In other subdivisions, we have budgeted money to use pavement preservation, like in Providence Club, so that we can extend the life of the asphalt as opposed to just repaving and or replacing. So we're also going to be focusing on the budget year on how we can enhance that, how we can go back in on those roads that we've paved to treat them so that they can be life extended there and everything, but also come in with some recommendations on the development side so that when a new subdivision is paved, it comes out and potentially has that pavement preservation added before it's turned over. And in most of the subdivisions, you'll notice that the public road is impacted by the heavy equipment that's going in. And it's that area out front that oftentimes needs attention almost immediately after a subdivision's been built. So we're going to look at some potential recommendations for you to do enhanced pavement preservation, rest of the roadway out in front of new developments as they come along. But we'll be back for you. And finally, the last thing, and this is another one that involves growth, and that is get your opinion on code enforcement. Majority of the time, this code enforcement has been complaint-driven, but we're seeing reoccurring things. We're seeing things pop up, and I think in almost calls on things that need to be addressed. And just want to gauge your opinion of allowing staff also to work with more proactive measures on cleaning up trash, abandoned vehicles, junk, falls down the property values of those neighbors who are maintaining their property. Everybody's opposed to us going ahead and moving forward with working with staff to implement a phased-in, more proactive approach to code enforcement.
All right.
Okay, no opposition. We'll move forward on all those, and we'll be good to go. But that wraps up my report.
Are there any questions from county manager? If not, we had no one sign up for public comment. We have no announcements to make, but we do need to go in executive session on real estate. If we can get a motion to meeting and go in executive session, and there should be an announcement when we come out of executive session. I'm excited about, but let's go in there and see how it works out. Motion to adjourn to executive session.
So moved.
Second, everybody in favor say aye.
thought it was your district. That was yours. I thought it was yours. I don't want it.
And I'm down the street.
I don't want it.
All right, we need a motion to come out of executive session and go back into regular session. Got a motion? Second? Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Oppose? Okay. There's two items we're going to announce. We'll start off with a small one. There's 3/10 of an acre at the corner of New Hope Road and Double Springs Road that one of our citizens has approached me and offered to give it to the county so we can straighten that intersection up there. And we need board approval for me to accept this gift.
I'd like to put that in form of a motion.
Have a motion?
Second.
Have a second? Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Passes unanimous. All right. We have been under negotiation and contract with 65 acres of land known as the Grubbs Tract, which joins Criswell Park. And we're ready to go toward a closing on that, which will double the size of Criswell Park in the future. Criswell, as you know, is ball fields and a huge building, and now the extension service is there, and this will double the size of that complex in the years to come. And the sales price is $17,000 an acre. There's 2 dwellings on the property. I don't know that the county can use those, but the appraisal come in dead on, so we're good to go with a motion to proceed to closing.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve that acquisition and authorize you to do the documents that necessary to make that close.
All right, we have a motion to proceed forward and authorize me to sign the documents.
Second.
You got a second? Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oppose? Passes unanimous. I want to thank everyone for coming tonight. That concludes our meeting. I entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Fastest meeting since I've been in office.